the last video I showed you how to make these little abstract star tree decorations, and I went on thinking about it, and then I also made these abstract ones. So that one I will simply put the fastener in the top and a ribbon in, and I also did, yeah, I did more sort of just abstract dropped ones, so I'll also put the fastener on the top and a ribbon around them. I just thought the abstract ones would make a really nice interesting Christmas tree. The red ones could be lovely. So just further on to that from what we've done already. But again, because I was thinking about all the possibilities, I sort of was thinking about the types of papers that I do in any case. And this is just using the tissue paper and the threads that I've done in the past, and it makes this lovely little snowdrop. So I've got a few ideas of how to use this. So that one I did freehand and it worked fine, it looks fine. And of course they're translucent, they're lovely with the light coming through them, I'll show you that. But I thought if you wanted to make a template, if you wanted to actually follow a pattern, if you weren't confident about being able to do it, I thought I'd show you how to make the pattern. So you just decide on the size of the circle you're going to have, and then draw your circle. You have to forgive me if this goes outside the piece of paper. Then you widen the compass to the full width of your circle, and then you start to find the centre of the circle and the lines that come through it and where they come through it, so you can make up your star. So you've got the full width of your circle. I'm just going to take that down a bit. And there's the centre point, so you do it roughly to the side of it, and you do one mark there, then go your other side, one mark there, and that's one cross. So you can, that should go through your point in the middle of your circle and be your first, that's the middle of your circle. And then you go, so now you want the ones here, so you'd go, it's still the full width of the circle, one mark there, and then this edge of the circle, one mark there, and one mark there, and you should be through the middle of your circle again, and that should be the middle, so you've got another line. Now you want the next line in, so you measure the width of this, and it is 7.5, so you want 3 3/4. So now instead of the full width, you want the half width of the circle, so get it about there. Right, then you put your point on the mark and put a line there, point on the mark, put a line there, go to your next point on the mark, put a line there, point on the mark, on the edge, put a line there, point on the edge, put a line there, point on the edge, put a line there, there, and the last one there. Then you've got that set. So you just go down and keep making your compass smaller by the half of the halving the what's that one? Halving the width of the circle. So we've done that one. You then, to get the next one, you'd have to go down to the next one. I've already done that. So I'm just going to make sure that's about half. You can check 1, 2, that's about half. Okay, so point there, do your marks on both sides, then go to your next point. Well, here I'll go to this one so you can see, mark there, and mark there, next one, mark there, there, and keep going round until we've done them all. There. And then you're going to have divided your circle up into nice little even divisions. And you can make your star. You then have to measure. I'll show you. That's quite pretty as is, isn't it? Well, as always, you know, all these things spur ideas as you go along. So now you're just joining up the opposite curves, the opposite arcs that you've done, and you should have divided it up equally, your circle up equally. Okay, so now that's going to be my top and bottom of my shape. So now every other one I'm going to divide up. So I want this, I think I did it 2.5 and 2.5 to, yeah, so I've got 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. So every other one you mark off with 2.5, 2.5. Or that's the measurement I'm using here. But you can use whatever design you want. Okay, and then just join up some of the dots. So I'm going to the outside corner on them, going up to the outside corner. I do this freehand, it really doesn't matter, because you're going to be laying on thread which isn't going to lie exactly straight in any case. And you just start pulling out your star, or your snowflake, whichever you think it looks most like, or whichever you want to feel it is at the time. Okay, so this one, just so that you know, I quite like them. I'm just going to take it down to 2. I'm just doing 2 centimetres because I want that a nice long, completely different shaped star inside. But again, it's up to you, isn't it? So put 2 around there. That is 14, 2. And it only has to need be roughly 2. So then you join that one up, and you can use a ruler if you want to, but you don't need to, because when I show you how you put the thread on, you haven't got that much control of the thread. You have to sort of go with it, go with the flow a bit. But look, out comes a really nice star. And then if you want to, you can do one in the middle as well. Where is the actual, there it is. I really found it didn't need it. I think it would almost complicate it. And you could, I've put on this one some extras, so I've just sort of done an extra there. And then I got a Sharpie, something that isn't going to, because felt tips actually dissolve in water, so use something that's substantial like a Sharpie and just draw out your design. And then when you put the cellophane over the top, or a clear plastic bag, whoops, that's bad. You just follow these marks. If you want sort of regular stars, I must admit, I would quite like them all to be slightly different. So maybe use this as a gauge and then change them as you go along slightly. And use this just to sort of keep the nice distance. But you can, once you get used to it, you can just do it freehand with your thread. And if you want last one's there. You see, it's how you cut it out as well. You know, I've left these long bits. So, I mean, I've actually put those in with thread. So you could mark those in and just cut them when you come to it. And those you can do with a ruler. Just helps. Now you've got a sort of cross between a star and a snowflake. Oops, that's gone out a bit. Doesn't matter. Where else? That's not very clear, is it? That needs doing. Okay, if you want to put these in, because it just makes it more of a snowflake, doesn't it? I've just taken them to the outside of the circle, but again, it all just comes out. Okay, so you've got something like that. And now, when you want to make it, you get your see-through cellophane over your star, you get your tissue paper, and there is a shiny side. I put it shiny side down. Right, I'm going to try and make 2 stars on this one piece of paper. You get your mixed cellulose glue, already mixed up already, and then you simply get, this is cotton, pure cotton dishcloth yarn or crochet yarn. So you just cut the number that you want. So it's 1, 2, 3, I want that one, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you want 8 lengths. So they don't have to be exact. So I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cut it. Cut all the ends so it's not looped. So I'm just getting basically 8 lengths. And they don't have to be exact because you cut the star out at the end in any case. Right, now make sure you've got enough space to do your star and maybe to do a second star. I'm just making sure I've got enough space even on the cellophane as well there. Okay, and once you start wetting this up, it'll stick down. So I've got my cellulose glue. You apply a load of glue to the area that you're going to be doing it, like so. And then you just simply put your threads across, so. And it doesn't matter if they're overhanging. Oops, the daisy. I would tape just masking tape this down onto the image, just like you would as tracing. I'm just going to fix it all down like so. And this'll, the tissue paper will stay because it's wet. And you can put the extra bit of glue there. And because the glue just sort of disappears in the whole process, you don't have to worry about it too much. And because there's so much glue down on the piece of paper, tissue paper, which is so translucent now with it being wet. Oops. And you get gluey. And everything sticks to you. And it doesn't have to be exact. And there was one I can see I've missed it. Then that's not right. I've missed drawing in the line. There we are. They beep, the lorries when they go past, because the hairdresser next door, her husband's a lorry driver, so all the lorry drivers beep when they go past. And even if they come a bit away and go a bit wobbly, don't worry. Right, the next bit is the outside star. So you just want enough thread you know is going to go all the way around the star, so take yourself off a run of it, and you do exactly the same thing. And it's quite a good idea to wear gloves, because if you're doing a number of these, then your little hands get wet and your nails get damaged, don't they? Okay, so you just run the thread round, and it sticks to the glue. You just need to sort of pin it down when it goes into the corners, just to get yourself a nice shape, and just use the wetness of the glue to keep it in place. And you can pinch it with your fingers to make it the points go sharper, and sort of press it down on the joints, but you don't have too much because you're putting another piece of tissue paper on top of this, so it's all going to come out in the wash, as I always say. A little bit unruly, but that's it. Last bit up there, and cut it. And the same again for the next inner one. I've got enough thread there to do that, I think. So just make sure there's enough glue on everything so that it's the actual dampness allows the stuff to stay down. Same again. Okay, then cut the last bit. Okay, so you've got that one, and then if you want to add more to the other bits, you just cut your lengths off, and you just cut your little length off, and just stick them down independently. And it depends whether you want them to look like snowdrops, yes, snowflakes, or if you want them to look like stars. So I would probably, again, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So I'd just cut them first. So they were roughly all the same length, just to make it easier for myself. So I'll leave it at that for the moment, just demonstrate. Can you see it? And my fingers are beginning to get sticky, but the actual glue is stickier, so it doesn't really matter how much glue you put on, because this glue just disappears. And if there's bits you don't like, you can cut them off. You know, it's not the end of it, even now. Okay, then you just tidy it all up. We just finish the last of these 3, and then you just tidy it all up. Make sure your points are sharp if you want them sharp. Right, the next bit, and either you do another one, either you unpin this, bring it over so you can do another one in the next space, or you get your cellophane nice and flat again, and get all your things nice and neat. And then all you have to do is make sure there's enough glue on there, and there'll be enough glue on because you put so much when you did the whole thing. Okay, last thing is just to bring the piece of tissue paper over and make sure you get the whole thing in, and then start easing it down with your paintbrush, and that's it. You then just let it dry and you can cut it out. Sort of get it into the grooves and things, and you still have a bit of, you can still manipulate a bit at this point. And then when that dries, it turns into that lovely little translucent star that I showed you before. Can you see it coming out there? Because it is a bit difficult, isn't it? Okay, so I've just made sure that it's all, the actual two sides are touching each other, the back and the front. Then you just peel it off, or leave it on your cellophane. And I don't know if you can see it, but there you are. And I put it on the radiator to dry in the studio, and it's dry within about 20 minutes. And get on with another one. And then when it's dry, I'll cut it out. Okay, so that was one idea. I'll put this to one side to dry. So you end up with something like this. But all that's left to do now is to cut them out however you want to. So, this one I didn't have the extra bits, the snowflake bits so much. And honestly, it really is pretty simple. I was going to put these just on the Christmas tree, because of course they'll be translucent, and the light will, the little twinkly lights from the Christmas tree lights will come through them. And I mean, you could go bonkers and go down a white theme, all paper stuff, if you wanted to, because I'm going to show you another couple of techniques that I did. So you've got the gist, and then you've got these different types of Christmas tree decorations. And then of course the design of these is up to you. That's the one I did earlier, and they just come out really sweet, don't they? Okay, right, I'm just going to clear away this white paper, which is sort of put on there to suggest that the place is nice and tidy and clean. It's not really, but in any case, look. So there's another one. These are just little snowflakes. These are really cute. I thought these could just be sprinkled on the table, and they just feel really nice, and they're very quick to do. So for those, you would just get your tissue paper. This is a piece I've already used, so it's a bit sticky. Get your tissue paper, put on some glue, and then do as I had done before, where you just make a whole load of lengths, and they actually are quite nice if they're different lengths. So, you know, do a couple of different type lengths of this card. Get your scissors underneath, snip it, and get your scissors underneath, snip it, and they're just dead cute. I'm going to cut that one in half, and you can, and all you do is something like that, and you make lots of little stars. I think I put about 5 on them, and that was enough. And then when they're dry, you just cut them out, and they feel so nice. I think what's so nice about them is that they feel really nice. That one's having 6 because it's big enough to take 6, and they're really sort of, they're really arbitrary, you know, you don't have to fuss about them. And they're nice if you don't fuss about them. They're nice if they're a bit more organic and erratic, you know. And also, you know, if you don't like the shape of it, when you come to actually cutting them out, the way you cut them will make a difference. So you put the glue on top all the time. Yes, it does. And then do as you did with the star, with the snowflake. I'm just going to show you. I've cut through my cellophane as well. You would just simply make sure there was enough glue on there, and fold it over, and then let it dry, and then cut them out. So just pop it over and press it down. Make sure it's all, that'll cut out, that's a rogue piece. And then, like, I've been too rough with that. If you are rough with them, which I am a bit rough with things, just make sure there's enough glue on it, and bung an extra piece on. And you're left with something like that, and I'm just going to put them in the heater. You just cut them out as circles, and you could just sprinkle them on the table, the dining table, or you could cut them out, actually, you know, in front of the telly or something. Cut them out so they were little, tiny weeny little snowflakes. And it's so funny because they actually feel nice. So that was that idea. With the tissue paper, I also made this sort of pattern, just running it over each other. And the idea was I was going to wrap them around paintbrushes or something. I put cellophane in between them so that it doesn't stick. And then it makes a former, doesn't it? So you get these lovely coils. And I thought they would look like, just trim that off, I don't want those bits. I thought they would look a bit like icicles. So you've got these really nice little coil things to go on the Christmas tree. So you just attach a ribbon to the top and you've just got these. I did a couple of those, so that was around a thin paintbrush, and I simply took a strip of this. I think I narrowed it to the bottom. So I did this first, and obviously you do it to whatever design you want. Take a strip that I've narrowed to the bottom, get a former that you like so, and then wrap this round. Because of the way the thread works, it works better one way than the other. Wrap it round, quite a nice long one. And they're so cute, look at that. And I just masking tape the ends to it. I masking tape the ends, put it nice so it's a nice little swirl. And then catch the end of the masking tape again. Okay, just to keep it nice and tight, just because the former will work better then, I suppose. And then if you just paint it with some acrylic medium, a gloss or a matte, and all it is so that when it's dry it holds its shape better if you've coated it in a medium. So you just douse it over and let it dry, and then it comes off like so. And I had also put one on a paintbrush, and I did the same thing, put the cellophane on first, and I'm hoping that it'll just slip off, and the cellophane's still inside there. And when it's not dry, but when that's completely dry, I should be able to get the cellophane out, and I've got a lovely little icicle. And it's done exactly the same way. Just the cellophane's wrapped around the paintbrush, and then tissue paper and cotton threads are wrapped around that. And then I should be able to just pull out the cellophane. But if not, I mean, it gives it a bit of strength. I'd just neaten up the top and turn it into a nice little icicle to hang on the tree. Okay, so 3 ideas. 4 ideas. That one, those, the star. I mean, this is just wonderful for collage. And the last thing was the spiral